it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a great viewer question that is, Peace and Harmony, can you please help? I have gone through a very difficult relationship and I feel so built up. I feel so beat up. I feel so bewildered. It's difficult to sort of get your mojo back, your I am back, your life back to normal, and sort of be in your happy space if you've been in a relationship and you have experienced narcissistic abuse. Narcissists have a pathological sense of self-importance and coupled with a lack of empathy for others. So they tend to sort of minimize, dismiss, or objectify others. So it really creates sort of a feeling of hurt feelings, especially by the sort of defense mechanisms or coping mechanisms that a narcissist will use and employ throughout their day, their life, their relationships to get what they want. Basically, a narcissist, in their perspective, in their viewpoint, in their opinion, wherever they are at, all they really see is what they desire, what they want out of something. They don't really see much of anything else. So hence they have an empathy deficit. So does a psychopath. But you have to understand that if someone does not have empathy, they don't really put weight, importance, precedence, or life, or even sort of an existence to really the presence of other people's needs, opinions, wishes, desires, feelings, truth, reality, all that. So it's very utilitarian for a narcissist to diminish or minimize, make invalid, wrong, or less than worthy, just sort of grind people down because it will automatically elevate them. So it's a self-enhancement mechanism. If they can, openly criticize, judge, condemn, throw others under the bus, always point the finger, it's a way for them to dismiss any sort of responsibility and accountability that they should have to sort of cover up for this deficit that they have. Narcissists have a pathological sense of self-importance, which really enables them to exploit, take advantage, and treat others unfairly and unjustly. And it causes them to feel that they have done nothing wrong. They don't feel that there's anything wrong with their, diminishing or diminutive treatment of others, their harsh judgment. They feel that they are perfectly, right. Because they don't have empathy, and really all that they see is their own viewpoint. They can't see things from other perspectives, especially if it is a threat to leveling their own, sort to bring them down to size, to bring them, down to reality. Oftentimes that reality is what they are trying to run away from. A narcissist does not like to feel on the level, equal, ordinary. They get very uncomfortable by this. So if you are, for some reason, your presence, your authenticity, your truth, your whatever your strength is, if you then threaten that, then you are going to be a target of narcissist abuse. This is just what they do. They will scapegoat, they will blame, they will point the finger, they will to break down, meaning sort of grind down others through tactics such as harsh judgment, criticism, belittling, the sort of indirect passive-aggressive communication, which means a very indirect communication. Everything is sort of sent on a boomerang and you can't really communicate because they use others as flying monkeys to sort of, which the term is, where if they can get others to buy into the fact that you're horrible, small, meaningless, insignificant, wrong, then they have just upped their game without having to do any additional work. So there's a lot of just sort of coping tactics that a narcissist will then surround themselves with to sort of pump themselves up. And it's because they can't really stand on their own in specific lights that call them to that ordinary, that reality, that authenticity. So that is that very existence that they're trying to avoid because it makes them feel uncomfortable. That's what they're trying to run away from. That's what they're trying to cover up. That's what all their persona, that's what all their act, their charades, the performance is trying to cover up that feeling of either smallness, being human, being normal, being ordinary, being this, being that, being subject to not being perfect, whatever it is. If it does not have an energetic match to that, other than that they are superior, then they're going to try to hurt, get rid of, destroy, you know, break it down. So those people who then find themselves sort of categorized, I put on air quotes, by this person, they then oftentimes will succumb and be overwhelmed and intimidated to the point of then sort of collapsing and agreeing and complying with these threats. So just like you might hear, other people gave into the bully. So it's just sort of like you're giving into a narcissist bully, which has a pathological sense of self importance. So they will then use these tactics of breaking others down as a coping mechanism to protect them from specific feelings. So, they have to create a bad guy, a bad girl, someone who is not good enough, someone who doesn't measure up, and so there's always sort of that, the supply needs to be upgraded feeling that you always then have to do backflips or please this person. And then people then find that they then really become almost like people pleasers or work overly hard, workaholics to please others. So this becomes like an ingrained mechanism after those people who have gone through narcissist abuse. Because after the love bombing, which is, the fake, the falseness that they will put on as if you are a someone in their clan, because it'll always be a them. It's not ever good enough for you to be sort of you. You have to be sort of how you fit the needs of them. So there's this sort of like, if you can fit my clan, then, oh, well, congratulations. It's kind of like that's what the love bombing is. And then the devalue and the discard is where you see a lot of the narcissist abuse. The cut downs, the charades, the sort of, the other sort of defense mechanisms that they use will what other people experience. And then they, engage in flawed thinking because they then give into the intimidation of the emotional bully, the narcissist, the one who is trying to sort of grade them, and then and then people then miss the fact that they are having their own I am and their own boundaries and standards violated, and then they end up giving in or caving in to, this narcissist bully sort of emotional bullying, which, includes a lot of defense mechanisms that you might feel that is part of that sort of, I feel so beat up, I feel so betrayed, I feel like, they've broken up with me, they won't associate with me, and I just don't understand why, like, you don't feel good enough. That is the narcissist abuse, is the breakdown, is the ultimatum that no matter what, their end result of their hurt is you are not good enough. You must work harder to please me or else. So that's how they get all these people doing backflips, sort of giving into their commands. These people have an insatiable need for power and control. This is how they feel that they are elevated on a pedestal. So don't feel that you have to diminish and minimize yourself and how you are. People then end up, shrinking their I am, their sense of being, their authenticity. They end up either like siphoning off or being sort of emotionally asphyxiated where they can't like live in the flow and be themselves without being worried, thinking, oh my God, are they going to break up with me? Are they going to blow up? That narcissistic rage. I mean, there are so many complexities involved. But realize that you must get back to enhancing and re-inflating your sense of I am. If you have been deflated by them, you need to re-elevate and then enhance and re-inflate your sense of self. People have, see if they can, minimize themselves to the point that they're, dancing on the, the head of a pin. Am I small enough now? Am I small enough now? Am I weak enough now? Am I bad enough now? I mean, there just becomes a lot of issues that people end up really, shrinking their own lifestyle, their own I am, their own life becomes just completely shut down. They're not living to their potential. They're not living to their I am. They're not living to their self actualization, their strength, their joy, their happiness, their okayness, their prosperity. Like this whole lifestyle state oftentimes ends up getting spliced off and splintered, and you only feel you might get a small spoonful of it, but then sort of just in the overall foundation, people oftentimes feel that they don't have that ability to shine and to be and to be their own, live in glory or exalt what they find as authentic and real and awesome and willing to protect. It's that whole life cycle that is under attack when you're in a narcissist relationship. So I can't emphasize the seriousness and the realness of understanding this hurt and this woundedness in narcissistic abuse. It is used, what they use are defense mechanisms, so coping mechanisms that they use to enlarge and puff up themselves, just like a cat. If you've ever seen a cat that sort of puffs itself up to intimidate the intruder. So the narcissist will sort of do that to sort of back down other people. And they will do this in a number of sundry ways to sort of get you to doubt yourself while they sort of climb the ladder and seek power and control over others. So a lot of times then people sort of find themselves at that part in the journey where they're made very uncomfortable by these types of people who will result in all the sundry narcissist manipulation tactics, the slander, the smear campaign, meaning talking about you with passive aggressive communication, indirect communication, not talking to you to your face, but talking to you through a number of other sources, what is known in the psychology world as flying monkeys. So it's kind of like if they can plant, seeds in this person's ear, talk bad here, that's called triangulation and a smear campaign. This can become oftentimes in very large ways also, which can become character assassination, and is a largely illegal process. To publicly, slander somebody by their name, and tell lies about them in order to take them down, minimize them, shrink them. So oftentimes then people then find themselves in the midst of a character assassination. So you have to, you are under attack. And oftentimes it's for something that they are projecting and seeing through the lens of their own lies. So you don't get a fair shake at reality, at true communication, open, honest communication. Well, guess what? Open, honest communication never goes out of style. So guess what? Just like Jimmy Dean, it's still cool to go to school. It's still cool to be yourself. It's still cool to be humble. It's still cool to be a nerd and work on yourself. It's still cool to own your reality. It's still cool to own happiness and be happy and to be empowered and to know what's up. You know what's up. And so you have to understand these tactics and to see that you don't need to be made victim of, and you don't need to absorb that negative label, because a bully will want you to push off that negative reality on you, to intimidate you, to get you to do whatever it is that he wants. What was it back in the day? Like the bully, to do their homework, or give me your lunch, or clean my car. I mean, what is the end result that the narcissist is looking for? When they break people down, they have everything to gain by making you look bad. They don't have to, they don't have to look within themselves and see their own flaws, see their own shortcoming, see their own humanness. The narcissist is usually generally living on a sort of a grandiose sort of fantasy illusion, right? So that's and oftentimes pathological lying is part of the basis, and then they sort of drag other people into the lie. And you might live in the lie for some time, but at some point people want to have a comfortable and real life, and then being surrounded with the people, events, things, and situations that truly fulfill, bring them joy and happiness. And this has to be in the real. This has to be, yes, this is what I want. But during the course of emotional bullying, people oftentimes have to dissociate, disown, or neglect, or deny, or detach from their I am, who they truly are, what they truly want, and not even communicate from that level. It becomes a very painful place to be then, because it is not lived from, and you might kind of, live that sort of way for a while, and then come to, and then be surprised that after the love bombing, that the narcissist cannot measure up. They cannot do the do. They cannot reel the real. They cannot live the life. They cannot follow through on their promises. There's always a procrastination or put off. They have all these other self important goals that get in the way of having and being accountable. So they just will escape into that fantasy or grandiose thinking, that entitlement that leads to that harsh treatment, the arrogance, the smug way. It's all an act, it's all a facade. And oftentimes people can then see right through it, but then doubt themselves when they see right through it. So you have to realize that a part of the narcissistic abuse is to dismiss or minimize others. So if you feel a weakened sense of self, that's a sure red flag that you are in an experience of narcissist abuse, and that they're sort of using those passive aggressive, very painful communication tactics, which are not direct, which are not forthright, which is not open and honest communication. So you do not have to mimic a narcissist and sort of live that sort of passive aggressive type of communication. It's very unhealthy. It's very unfair, and it's not very real. It doesn't give you a chance to have communication, and that's just not communication. It's passive aggressive emotional abuse. So don't find yourself in that cycle. Step out of that cycle and step out of that relationship. Do not engage only to enhance another. You have to have relationships that are also enhancing of you. That is quite all right, that your I am is acknowledged and validated and embraced and supported. If you don't have that in your life, you must really work on bringing that into your life, into your intrapersonal self, and then also opening up so that others can then engage with you in that real, safe, authentic way, that you can live an enhanced self and grow bigger, stronger, follow your dreams, knowing that it's okay to follow your dreams, that you're not crazy, psycho, the that there's something wrong with you, inherently flawed, that will scar you for the rest of your days. Do not buy into those sort of abusive tactics. Know that you are protected. Know that you are worth protecting. Get away from those who seek to bully you emotionally, who seek to engage in passive aggressive communication, which is not direct and forthright with you, that is always not allowing yourself to be heard, understood, seen, and valued, because it is that asphyxiated state that the bully will then try to sort of siphon you off from that experience to make you small. And that then creates these negative self-limiting beliefs. I can't, I won't, I am not, I am I am un, I am, and then you're unhappy. And then so people then end up spending on a percentage of their day in the bottoming out, in the disempowered, in the unhappy, just sort of not on full, all pistons, all cylinders. So it's okay to get it back and enhance yourself, and then work to get away from that chain that sort of continues to wear you down and weight you down. So it's okay to live in lightness of being. I am energized. I am lightness and bright. I am motivated. I am excited. I am enthusiastic. I have a future. I know where my future happiness is, and I carry it with me now. And then I always recommend, going on your recovery date. And there's just so much we can talk about this, but give yourself a recovery gift. Give yourself something that reminds you, I am strong. I am worthy. I believe in myself. And I believe in my future, and I believe in my dreams, and I believe they are here with me now. What is something that you can carry on your person? Is there something, a symbol of that? Is it a candle? Is it a bookmark? Is it a book? Is it a picture? Is it a little cup? Is it a vase? Is it a tool? What is a recovery gift that you can give yourself today, that every time you look at it, it reminds you that you have an awesome future that is filled with fulfillment and happiness and joy and lightness of being, oftentimes which is the cessation of guilt and paranoia and self-limiting beliefs that sort of encases you, that limits you and that's like the narcissistic trap. Don't fall into the trap. Step out of the trap and embrace your fullness. Do something right now that gives you a concrete understanding of this, so that you know this. You can feel, touch, see, hear it, and know it. Hear it, everything. Get this in your environment today. Keep it close to your person and continue to nurture this I am. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace and strength within, peace and strength without, peace and strength around you. Fall in love with your future and your future fulfillment, and take little micro decisions toward it every day, and give yourself that stillness and fullness of being where you know it is to be so. And then pray and meditate on that. Even if it's for 10 seconds, it'll do you a world of good. Have a beautiful day.